Integrated Health Outreach will be hosting a 5K walk in Antigua on March 9th and one in Barbuda on March 16th. Entitled Men and Women United Stop Gender Based Violence, the 5K walk will commemorate International Women's Day 2024. The purpose is to raise awareness of gender based violence in Antigua and Barbuda, demonstrating community support for victims of gender based violence and highlighting the perspectives and realities around preventative and support services. It's being dubbed 5,000 Steps for Safety. And we have the project manager of IHO, Brittany McDonald, on the Zoom platform. And she's going to tell us all about this very important initiative. Good morning, Brittany. Welcome. I think you're muted, Brittany. Kindly unmute.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for having me on the show. It's wonderful to be able to share about the initiative and to be joining you again this morning. It's a Monday morning, so a wonderful way to start the day, start the week.
Yes.
And so with the Integrated Health Outreach and Gender-Based Violence Coalition, what we're aiming to do is raise awareness on gender-based violence in Antigua and Barbuda and support for the persons who are currently experiencing gender-based violence within their homes or their general environment, as well as those who would have experienced it and are currently no longer in the situation, but as we're aware, it would have psychological effects, social effects on them as well. And so through this walk, it is one of many initiatives that we'll have in the future where we're rallying around them and also bringing the community together, because we know that through community-led actions, we're able to see change. And we want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned when engaging with our community and showing that we stand together for this issue.
I like how you just jumped right in, Brittany. Even before I asked you the first question, you just went straight at it, and that's one of the great things about being a marketing, a project officer. You're gonna go straight to the point. Just talk to us a little, though, Brittany, about IHO. For those persons who don't know what Integrated Health Outreach is, a little background about your organization.
Thank you. So Integrated Health Outreach is a not-for-profit organization that is based in Antigua and Barbuda and has been working over the years within the space for gender equality, youth empowerment, looking at our environment and ecological circumstances, and ensuring that our community voices are heard and are included in the conversations, whether that's through a government level or through regional organizations such as the OECS that often do work through regional partnerships. And so the work that we've been doing has always been community focused and focused on both the physical and mental health of our communities and ensuring that inputs are integrated into policies and decision-making processes.
So, can you just remind our listening and viewing audiences of the sorts of projects and initiatives that IHO has gotten involved in the past?
Yes. So one of the most recent initiatives included livelihoods and training of beekeepers for women. And so this is empowerment for women to be able to learn about this particular trade, processing of honey as well. And this is a stream of income, right? And so when we're looking at gender disparity, we're also speaking of the economic implications that are at play. And so this is a great example of how Integrated Health Outreach has provided empowerment to the women in Antigua and Barbuda. There's also through the Coconut Queens, which they are farmers who are working within that space for the coconut tree development, and then also looking at the production aspect, the agro processing that will be able to come from the coconut farming. So these are some of the initiatives. There's also the IHO Nature Rangers, which is a subsection of the organization, and then we also that works specifically within the environment and environmental stewardship. And so we have youth working alongside the organization as well in these areas that specifically target how we can take care of our environment, not only for ourselves and our health, but also for wildlife conservation as well. So IHO has touched broadly across the areas that have impacted us in Antigua and Barbuda, but the focus has always been making sure that there's connections with the community and also focus on our most vulnerable populations, which include women, youth, and other marginalized groups.
Right. So you have done a lot of really impactful work across the community. How is IHO funding all of these big projects? Because I do know that you have some partnerships with international agencies. How do you do it?
Great question. So, a lot of our projects would not be possible without the kind support of our funders and partners. And so, through various projects, we have assistance, particularly for the IHO GBV Coalition gender-based violence walk that we're doing on March 9th and March 16th. That is through the partnership with the Equality Fund. And so their focus is supporting organizations and projects that specifically work to eliminate violence against women and girls and assisting with vulnerable populations. So that is an example for one of our projects. But there's also through various project receipts as well, where we've applied for funding and been recipients for various grants. And so that also comes through to support some of our projects. And that is how we are able to get our work done. But again, I also focus on the fact that it's through the work of the community being able to engage with us, because that's how we've been able to develop our track record to even receive these projects and the funding with our partners.
Excellent, excellent. Now, let's focus a little on the 5K walk coming up on the 9th of March in Antigua and the 16th in Barbuda. Just go back and tell us the rationale for hosting it and some of the logistics, where you intend to start, the route, and that sort of thing.
Yes. So the concept of the walk is not new. So there are gender-based violence walks that have happened, but again, we wanted to make sure that we looked at our specific circumstances here in Antigua and Barbuda. And so when we were doing research in regards to the data available on gender-based violence in Antigua and Barbuda, as well as the reporting that happens and the quantity of reports that have been received and the channels of reports, and looking at the other programs and work of organizations such as Women Against Rape, as well as the work of the Department of Gender Affairs, we saw that there were opportunities where we needed to get more information from the community. We needed to be able to conduct additional research so that we could have it be representative. And on a regional level as well, there are few reports for Antigua and Barbuda that will give you the statistics that you need in order to truly develop impactful projects that would tailor to the specific needs of each community. And so when we're looking at those components, we said we need to start at the bottom, which is raising awareness, giving a voice to the circumstance, and ensuring that persons who have experienced gender-based violence are aware that we stand with them. And so that is how the walk was conceptualized with the IHO GBV Coalition, and also reaching out to our partners like the Department of Gender Affairs to support the work that we're doing. In addition to that, we've also had a workshop that was hosted by Nurse Alexandrina Wong of Women Against Rape, to also share knowledge with some of the newer members of the IHOGBV coalition so that they could have an understanding of what gender-based violence looks like in Antigua and Barbuda, specifically with the background of the work and activities that have been done. So we decided around International Women's Day, which is March 8th, we would have the walks surrounding that time frame because it's an opportunity to highlight that observance. And so in Antigua on March 9th at the Botanical Gardens, we will start at 3 p.m. at the Big Tree, and you'll also see the trucks and the DJ will be playing music so that you can hear, so you can identify the spot, and you'll see us in our orange shirts. I'm wearing one here.
Okay,
And it's
good.
really men and women united. We want to ensure that men also know that they are part of the solution, that they need to demonstrate that our men are with us, that they rally behind us and beside us at this walk. In Barbuda, we have the walk the following week because of logistics,
Right.
so that we can ensure the same level of quality as well, and turnout so that we would be able to be there physically to support the Barbuda walk. And so in Barbuda, the walk occurs on March 16th at 11 a.m. at the Fisheries Complex. And that walk is a little different in that it ends at the Martello Tower. And we have those posted on our social media as well, those routes to give you guidance just in case you wake up a little late. I know it's a Saturday. You can still meet up with the walk and you'll hear the music playing as well. So those are the two walks that we're having. And it's important for us to include Barbuda in the conversation because we're a Twin Island state, right? We need to ensure that we're capturing the perspectives of the entire community.
Yeah. And the walk on the 9th of March, you said it would start at the Botanical at Victoria Park. Is there a specific route that you're taking or you're going to be in the park?
Yes, great question. So we are going to be in the Botanical Gardens and we'll also end at the Botanical Gardens. But just to go over the route briefly, it is that the Botanical Gardens, we're going to go through the East Bus Station, onto Factory Road, then onto American Road, All Saints Road, Independence Boulevard, as well as Queen Elizabeth Highway, and then return back to the Botanical Gardens. I'll share this with you as well, for our viewers.
Excellent, excellent. I rather like the theme 5,000 steps for safety, end the silence, stop the violence. And that route that you you have just given, it seemed to me like it might be more than 5,000 steps. I just did the glow walk for the Antigua State College and I used my smartwatch and there were 16,000 steps from State College to Fries Bay. 16,000 steps. But that route that you have given sounds to me like it might be more than 5,000 steps, which is a
So
good
with
thing, eh?
Yeah, so with the 5,000 steps for safety, that slogan more ties to the fact that we recognize that there's going to be more than a three-step approach to this
Yes.
particular issue. It's not just a quick fix. It's something that needs a cultural, a societal move to ensure that we're seeing true change. And so I think with that, we're being realistic in that it's
Yeah.
not just one person, it's not just one walk and that's it, or just having an annual walk. It's going to be the sum total of all of the various actors within the space, whether that's from government, civil society, community groups, and individual actions. They're all going to comprise the collective change that we need to see in ending the silence regarding gender-based violence in our communities, not only in Antigua and Barbuda, but widely throughout the Caribbean, which is number two for gender-based violence and intimate partner violence as well.
And will there be any speeches at the end or at the beginning? Will you be highlighting any sorts of other initiatives at the walk, or is it just the walk?
Yeah. So, uh, one of the outcomes of the walk is that we've asked persons to join the IHO GBV coalition. And so once you're registering, there is a section within the registration form that asks, do you want to be a part of this mission? Do you want to volunteer your time to assist in this way? And so from that section of it, we'll also have an understanding and appreciation of what the community of volunteerism looks like, and then moving into conducting some more of the research and analytical aspects of the process, which would include doing surveys specific to Antigua and Barbuda. There is one that was conducted through UN Women and the Caribbean Development Bank and CARICOM, but Antigua and Barbuda wasn't able to be included for one reason or the other, and a few other islands, because that survey is only 5 territories within the Caribbean, which of course is still not representative because we all have our different dynamics and cultural approaches. Antigua has its own culture as well, like a microculture, and so does Barbuda. They have their own culture because our circumstances are different. And so we have to recognize and appreciate that the experience as well of gender-based violence, whether that's preventative or support services, will need to be researched and the data collected from those specific communities in order to truly serve them.
Right. Now, how can people register? How can people get involved for the March 9th event and for the March 16th event over in Barbuda?
Yes. So there is still time. Registration is still open. We will have our links on our Facebook page as well as in our Instagram page. There is a link tree where you'll be able to register for both the Antigua walk as well as the Barbuda walk. In that registration, you will, of course, be able to state if you want to volunteer and be a part of the IHOGBV coalition to join this movement. And also, you'll be able to share your t-shirt size and things like that for the swag bag. If you do have, for example, younger participants in your family that want to join, but maybe they don't have a cell phone, for example, but you want to create that exposure for them, you can register them as well using your contact information as their parent or guardian. And just to touch on too, a part of persons who are joining this movement include the phenomenal Claudette C.P. Peters. And
Oh,
so we're so
yes.
honored that she is using her very powerful voice to be a part of this movement, to be a part of raising the awareness of this issue. And so we're able to reach persons through her support, and she'll also be performing on March 9th at the walk and sharing words of encouragement to all.
Excellent, excellent. Just you have had some corporate support for this event, and perhaps at this point you'd like to acknowledge your sponsors and your supporters for the 5K walk.
Yes, and so we're still finalizing our sponsors locally, but I do want to highlight the Equality Fund, which is our partner for this event. Through their support, we are able to plan and achieve these types of programs that impact, again, women, youth, and marginalized groups, vulnerable groups, such as persons with disabilities, who we may not necessarily see represented in larger studies as well. We're able to ensure that they are included in our community action. And so we are going out to various sponsors within the community, various organizations to seek sponsorship in the sense that we want you to get your organization, your company registered to be a part of the walk, because each company in Antigua and Barbuda, in my opinion, should have its own gender policy with how it deals with gender issues
Mhm.
and ensuring that it's a safe space for both men and women. And so this is an opportunity to demonstrate that you are on board with that particular mission, with being able to raise awareness that gender-based violence will not be tolerated within a workspace. And so I call on the employers within Antigua and Barbuda to sign up and register your groups. You will be able to also receive a banner that we've designed. And also there are other ways that you can also contribute to the cause. And so feel free to contact us as well for opportunities in that regard.
Okay, Brittany, just remind us of the dates, the time, the registration, etc., as we wrap up our discussion.
Yes, so on March 9th and on March 16th, we will be having 2 walks focused on International Women's Day, which is March 8th, and commemorating International Women's Day, focusing on stopping gender-based violence in Antigua and Barbuda, both preventative and support measures. The support hotline for gender-based violence is a 24 hotline through the Department of Gender Affairs. It is 463-5555. Again, that's 463-5555. And in Antigua, we're going to have the walk on March 9th at 3 p.m., starting at the Botanical Gardens and ending at the Botanical Gardens, as well as in Barbuda, we're having the walk on March 16th at 11 a.m. at the Fisheries Complex and ending at Martello Tower. For those participants who haven't registered as yet, you can follow the IHO page, whether that's Facebook or Instagram, and click on those registration links in our bio. As well as for persons who have registered, distribution will begin the week of March 4th through March 8th so that you can collect your swag bag and wear your t-shirt in solidarity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very kindly, Brittany, for sharing with us.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, and have a great morning and a wonderful week.
Great, and you as well. Project manager there of Integrated Health Outreach, Brittany McDonald. And she was talking about the 5K march, 5K walk coming up on March 9th and March 16th. March 9th in Antigua, Victoria Park, and March 16th in Barbuda. We are out of time for today's show. We thank our